Listen, you're probably running your business without thinking about tax and accounting, and I totally get it. You don't like that stuff, so you're trying to ignore it for as long as possible. You don't have an accountant, or if you do, it's some super generic firm like Crunch Accounting, where they have 10 different accountants talking to you, but no one who has a clear picture of your company, no one who understands you or even your industry. They'll get in touch a couple of weeks from a deadline and they'll tell you how much tax you need to pay and by when. And doing this is costing you so much money that it's not even funny. And why is that? So at a basic level, you pay taxes on your profits. You'll have a profit figure, which is what you make minus what you spend for business. And then you pay a certain percentage on that figure. And in the UK, it's 25%. And the way you minimize the taxes is by making it look like you make less and you spend more. The problem with that is, to do so, you need to know the rules and you need to be communicating with your accountant. Now, a good accountant knows the rules and can show you how to leverage them to pay the least amount of tax possible. He can show you how money that you would have spent anyways, in one case is considered a business expense and can be deductible. In another case, it's not a business expense and you can't claim tax relief for that. He can show you how a piece of equipment you're using in your day-to-day can save you £12,000 if you sell it to your own company in a certain way. But he needs to be good, he needs to care about you, and he needs to have time to work. I know that tax savings are so hard to think of because you only see the impact of a wrong decision 1 year down the line. A mistake that you make today will only be paid for in a tax bill that is due in 15 months. And by the time that you're paying that tax bill, you have no idea why it's so high. So what I want to do today is give you a couple practical examples and show you what you might be doing today that makes this tax bill so high. So imagine you're going for a shoot abroad and the shoot lasts 4 days. You then want to extend the trip for another 3-4 days to have a holiday. You'll have to pay for flights, hotels, food, transport and other stuff. Now, if you just buy your flights to get there the day before the shoot and to go back after the holiday, you won't be able to claim anything because there's duality of purpose. So yeah, it's business, but it's also holiday, so we can't allow this expense and the whole trip will be disallowed. What a good accountant would do is tell you to plan the trip around the photo shoot. So he would say, leave the day before the start of the shoot or the event and come back the day after the shoot. So then everything is a business expense. Food, transport, hotels, everything. Basically, everything you spend your money on is all tax deductible. So assuming you spend like $4,000 on the trip, that's $1,000 net savings in tax just by structuring the trip like that. And now you may be asking, okay, but then I don't get my holiday. And I'd tell you, well, what if you miss your flight, right? So for the records, you have all receipts and invoices for the business trip, paid with a company card. So the event is on these days. Here are the flights, here's the food, here's what we did, everything was for business, so everything is deductible. But then what happens if you miss your flight? You just buy a new one with your personal card, right? And then the expenses for the holiday part of the trip are just paid for personally. But you should talk to your accountant. Tell him, hey mate, I'm going to Spain for work. And then if he cares about you, he would say, nice, you should do it this way, saves a couple grand. By just talking to your accountant and getting an extra plane ticket, you can save a couple of £1,000s. And I understand, I really do. It's money that for you, it just goes out either way. You don't care about how you do it. You don't care about how you spend it. But in 1 year, your tax bill will be £8,000 higher and you'll have no idea it could have been so much lower if you just did little things like this. And you've got thousands of things on your plate as a business owner. I understand, I don't expect you to stop thinking this way, but what I will tell you is you should have someone in your corner who does think that way. And going back to the main topic, the main issue, why is waiting to hire an accountant costing you money? So if you wait until the deadline and you just say, here, accountant, file my tax for the year, when the year has already finished, there's not much an accountant can do because he can't turn back time. The way you did it, your business trip, It's not an allowable expense. The equipment you've been using cannot be fully deductible. And all of a sudden, the tax bill that could have been 6 grand is 16 grand. And being real, a lot of the times your accountant doesn't care how much you spend in tax. If you only give him 2 weeks to file the tax return, he'll do it. But he won't take the time to actually look into your accounts and ask you the questions and look at the details that save you the money. And it's so hard to visualize the tax savings and understand that you're going to have an extra £5,000 in your bank thanks to the work of your accountant. No one understands this. No one. Everyone assumes it's black and white. If their accountant tells them you have to pay £16,000 in tax, they assume that must be the right number. Because it's accounting, right? It's numbers, it's maths. It must be correct. I must owe £16,000. They don't even think that this number could be wrong or significantly lower. And it's so frustrating to see that people only care about the price of the accountant, thinking it's just a tick the box task. Like, yep, I have one. Like, wouldn't you pay 5 grand for an accountant that saves you 10? Of course you would. So then, why are you stuck with the accountant that you're paying 1 grand? You're like, oh, but this guy's cheaper. You're like, yeah, of course, but does this guy save you 10 grand? No, he doesn't. So please, please, please understand that the accountant is such an important role in your company. A good one can make you loads of money, and a bad one can fuck you over without you even knowing. And don't wait to hire one. I know you may think you don't need it right now, but trust me, hiring an accountant early in the process will not only save you a ton of money, but will also give you so much more peace of mind. All right, see ya.